Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamutirye Nashtapraheshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Nashtiki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 1, The Advent of Lord Krishna, Introduction. Text 22 onwards. So yesterday we studied how Mother Earth went to Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma took all the demigods, went to Shvetadeep, Kshirshagar, where Lord Vishnu was residing. And Lord Vishnu appeared in his trance, in his mind, and gave Brahmaji the instruction, and Brahmaji gave the instructions to the rest of the demigods. So Brahmaji is further speaking with the demigods. Pureva punsav dhrito dhara jvaro bhavad bhiranshar dushu pajanyatam sayav durvaya bharamishwareshwaraha swakala shaktya kshapayanshchared bhuvi. Lord Brahma informed the demigods, before we submitted our petition to the Lord, he was already aware of the distress on earth. Consequently, for as long as the Lord moves on earth to diminish its burden by its own potency, in the form of time, all of you demigods should appear through plenary portions as sons and grandsons in the family of the Yadus. So the Yadu dynasty, it was all created by the demigod. Demigods, through their plenary portion, means they expanded themselves, so they had their own position, and they also appeared in the dynasty of Yadus. As stated in Brahma Samhita, Ramadi Murti Shukala Niyamena Tishta. I worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead Govinda, who is always situated in various incarnations as Ram and Narasimha and many sub-incarnations as well, but who is the original personality of Godhead, known as Krishna, and who incarnates personally too. In this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, we find the words Pureva Punsava Dhrito Dhara Jvara. The word Punsa refers to Krishna, who was already aware of how the whole world was suffering because of the increase of demons. Without reference to the supreme power of the personality of Godhead, demons assert themselves to be independent kings and presidents, and thus they create a disturbance by increasing their military power. When such disturbances are very prominent, Krishna appears. At present also, various demoniac states all over the world are increasing their military power in many ways, and the whole situation has become distressful. Therefore, Krishna has appeared by his name in the Hare Krishna movement, which will certainly diminish the burden of the world. Philosophers, religionists, and people in general must take to this movement very seriously, for man-made plans and devices will not help bring peace on earth. The transcendental sound Hare Krishna is non-different from the person Krishna. So, Kali Kale Nam Rupe Krishna Avatar. This is mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita also. So for all these different demoniac forces all over the world, Prabhupada said this is the only way out, by chanting Hare Krishna. Vasudev Grihe Saksha Bhagwan Purushaha Paraha Janishyate Tat Priyartham Sambhavantu Surastriyaha. The Supreme Personality of God, Shri Krishna, who has full potency, will personally appear as a son of Vasudeva. Therefore, all the wives of the demigods should also appear in order to satisfy him. In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, Tyakta deham punarjanma neti mameti. After giving up the material body, the devotee of the Lord returns home back to Godhead. This means that the devotee is first transferred to the particular universe where the Lord is at that time staying to exhibit his pastimes. There are innumerable universes, and the Lord is appearing in one of these universes at every moment. Therefore, his pastimes are called Nitya Leela, eternal pastimes. The Lord's appearance as a child in the house of Devaki takes place continuously in one universe after another. Therefore, the devotee is first transferred to that particular universe where the pastimes of the Lord are current. So this is something to understand. We don't right away go back to Golok Vrindavan. So we go to the universe where Krishna's pastimes are happening. We enter those pastimes. We get trained by the devotees who are already there. And then we become eligible to go back to the spiritual world. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, even if a devotee does not complete the course of devotion service, he enjoys the happiness of the heavenly planets, where the most pious people dwell, and then takes birth in the house of a Shuchi or Shriman, a pious Brahman or a wealthy Vaishya. Thus, a pure devotee, even if unable to execute devotional service completely, is transferred to the upper planetary system, where pious people reside. From there, if his devotional service is complete, such a devotee is transferred to the place where the Lord's pastimes are going on. Herein it is said, Sambhavantu Surastriya. Surastri, the women of the heavenly planets, were thus ordered to appear in the Yadu dynasty in Vrindavan to enrich the pastimes of Lord Krishna. These Surastri, when further trained to live with Krishna, would be transferred to the original Golok Vrindavan. During Lord Krishna's pastimes within this world, the Surastri were to appear in different ways, in different families to give pleasure to the Lord, just so that they would be fully trained before going to the eternal Golok Vrindavan. With the association of Lord Krishna, either at Dwarkapuri, Mathurapuri, or Vrindavan, they would certainly return home back to Godhead. Among the Surastri, the women of the heavenly planets, there are many devotees, such as the mother of the Upendra incarnation of Krishna. So mother of the Upendra means the Vamandev incarnation. So mother of Vamandev was Aditi. It was such devoted women who were called for in this connection. So from here, if we have performed our devotional service completely or unable to execute, then we can get transferred to the upper planetary system. And from there, if we have performed properly, then we can go to the planet where Krishna, or go to the universe where Krishna is performing his pastimes. Or from here only, we can go directly to the universe where Krishna is performing his pastimes. See, so simple. All we have to do is perform our devotional service here properly. Vasudev Kalananta Sahasra Vadana Swarat Agrato Bhavita Devo Hare Priya Chikirshaya. The foremost manifestation of Krishna is Sankarshan, who is known as Ananta. He is the origin of all incarnations within this material world. Previous to the appearance of Lord Krishna, this original Sankarshan will appear as Baladeva, just to please the Supreme Lord Krishna in his transcendental pastimes. So this was already foretold to Lord Brahmaji that this is going to happen. So original Sankarshan will appear as Baladeva. Shri Baladev is the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. He is equal in supremacy to the Supreme Godhead. Yet wherever Krishna appears, Shri Baladev appears as his brother, sometimes elder and sometimes younger. When Krishna appears, all his plenary expansions and other incarnations appear with him. This is elaborately explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita. This time Baladev would appear before Krishna as Krishna's elder brother. And there was a reason Balramji appeared as Krishna's elder brother. Of course, in Golok Vrindavan, he is Balramji, Krishna's elder brother, but for the pastimes, when he appeared as Lakshman, younger brother of Ram, he could not stop Ram from going to the forest, from taking sannyas, or not sannyas, but going to the forest, leaving the kingdom. He could not stop Ram from putting Sita through that fire testing. He could not stop Ram from banishing Sita to the forest, and many other things, because Lakshman was younger brother, Ram was elder brother. Lakshman had to listen to him. So then he said, okay, nothing doing. I'm not going to appear as your younger brother again. So as in Krishna Leela, he came elder brother as Balram. In Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Leela, he came as elder brother as Nityananda Prabhu. But still, neither Krishna nor Chaitanya Mahaprabhu listened to the elder brother. That was a different story. So although Balramji appeared as elder brother, but Krishna would still not listen to him. He was completely independent. Vishnur Maya Bhagavati Yaya Samohitam Jagat Adishta Prabhuran Chena Karyarthe Sambhavishyati. The potency of the Lord, known as Vishnu Maya, who's as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, will also appear with Lord Krishna. This potency, acting in different capacities, captivates all the worlds, both material and spiritual. At the request of her master, she will appear with her different potencies in order to execute the work of the Lord. So Vishnu Maya or Yoga Maya will also appear. So many ways Yoga Maya appeared. One was as Subhadra. Subhadra is incarnation of Yoga Maya. And second, she appeared along with Krishna in the house of Nanda Baba. And Vasudevji, when he took Mathura Krishna or Vasudev Krishna to Gokul, so Vasudev Krishna merged into Yashoda Krishna or Nanda Nandan Krishna. And Vasudevji did not see that because that was not visible to him, but he saw this baby girl. And he brought that Yoga Maya back with her. Parasya Shaktir Vividheva Shruyate. In the Vedas, it is said that the potencies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are called by different names, such as Yoga Maya and Mahamaya. Ultimately, however, the Lord's potency is one, exactly as electric potency is one, although it can act both to cool and to heat. The Lord's potency acts in both the spiritual and material worlds. In the spiritual world, the Lord's potency works as Yoga Maya. And in the material world, the same potency works as Mahamaya. Exactly as electricity works in both a heater and a cooler. So same potency, but the different works. But regardless, it's service of the Lord. In the material world, this potency working as Mahamaya acts on the conditioned souls to deprive them more and more of devotional service. It is said, Yaya Samohito Jivatmanam Trigunatmakam. In the material world, the conditioned soul thinks of himself as a product of Triguna, the three modes of material nature. This is the worldly conception of life. Because of associating with the three gunas of the material potency, everyone identifies himself with this body. Someone is thinking he is a Brahman, someone a Kshatriya, someone a Vaishya or Shudra. Actually, however, one is neither a Brahman, a Kshatriya, Vaishya or Shudra. One is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. And Krishna himself says, Mame Vanshu Jivaloke Jivbhota Sanatana. But because of being covered by the material energy, Mahamaya, one identifies himself in these different ways. And not just Brahman, Kshatriya. I'm man, I'm woman, I'm white, I'm black, I'm yellow, I'm brown, I'm Hindu, I'm Muslim, I'm Indian, I'm Pakistani, I'm Chinese, and I'm American. These are all material designations related to the body, nothing to do with the soul. Nothing. I'm dog, I'm cat, I'm bird, and I'm fish. Again, soul is none of these. When the conditioned soul becomes liberated, however, he thinks himself an eternal servant of Krishna. Jivera Swarupai Krishnera Nityadas. When he comes to that position, the same potency acting as Yoga Maya increasingly helps him become purified and devote his energy to the service of the Lord. The same potency, either it acts as Mahamaya or Yoga Maya. Now it's up to us where we want to be at. So we have served Mahamaya long enough. It doesn't give any satisfaction. Now by Prabhupada's books, that is pretty clear. Now let's serve under Yog Maya. In either case, whether the soul is conditioned or liberated, the Lord is supreme. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Maya Dhakshena Prakriti. It is by the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead that the material energy, Mahamaya, works upon the conditioned soul. The bewildered spirit soul, under the influence of the three modes of material nature, thinks himself to be the doer of activities, which are in actuality carried out by nature. Within conditioned life, no one has freedom. But because one is bewildered, being subject to the rules of Mahamaya, one foolishly thinks himself independent. So no one has freedom here. Only freedom we have is to desire. That's all. Desire to do something, and then if our karma bank balance is there, the Mahamaya lets us do that thing. The three modes of nature take over, and Mahamaya makes us do things. We are not independent. And then we go through the karmic reactions. But when the conditioned soul becomes liberated by executing devotional service, he is given a greater and greater chance to relish a relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead in different transcendental statuses, such as Dasiras, Sakhyaras, Vatsalya, and Madhuryaras. So see, thing is, when the conditioned soul becomes liberated means freedom, right? So freedom from material modes of nature. But now he is going to act under Yog Maya, and he has more freedom. But when he is liberated, he gives up his freedom. He doesn't want to act freely. He wants to surrender. And he surrenders. More and more we surrender, more and more we want to give up our freedom. We are given more freedom. And more and more we want to become independent of Krishna. We are more and more bound up. And we think we are independent. Who can be independent? Are we free? We are not at all free. Are we free to choose whether we are going to get old or not? Are we free to choose whether we're going to get sick or not? No. Are we free to choose that we're going to die or not? No. There's no such freedom. And we think we are free. Thus, the Lord's potency, Vishnu Maya, has two features, Avaranika and Unmukha. When the Lord appeared, his potency came with him and acted in different ways. She acted as Yog Maya with Yashoda, Devaki, and other intimate relations of the Lord. And she acted in a different way with Kamsa, Shalva, and other Asuras. By the order of Lord Krishna, his potency Yog Maya came with him and exhibited different activities according to the time and circumstances. Karyarthe sambhavishyanti. Yog Maya acted differently to execute different purposes desired by the Lord. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Mahatmanas tu mam partha devim prakritim ashrita. The Mahatmas who fully surrender to the lotus feet of the Lord are directed by Yog Maya, whereas the Duratmas, those who are devoid of devotion service, are directed by Mahamaya. So we are going to be directed, we are going to be under either one of the energies of the Lord. We cannot be completely independent. No way. Shri Shukvacha, iti adishyam ragana prajapati patir vibhu ashvasya cha mahim girbhihi sudham parvam yayo. Shukdev Goswami continued. After thus advising the demigods and pacifying Mother Earth, the very powerful Lord Brahma, who is a master of all other Prajapatis and is therefore known as Prajapati Pati, returns to his own abode, Brahmaloka. Shurseno Yadupatir Mathuram Avasan Purim Mathuran Shursenasha Vishayan Bubuje Pura. Formerly Shursen, the chief of the Yadu dynasty, had gone to live in the city of Mathura. There he enjoyed the places known as Mathura and Shursena. Rajdhani tatha sabhut sarva yadav abhu bhujam Mathura Bhagwan yatra nityam sannihito hari. Since that time, the city of Mathura had been the capital of all the kings of the Yadu dynasty. The city and district of Mathura are very intimately connected with Krishna. For Lord Krishna lives there eternally. Eternally, he lives there in Mathura. So whenever we go to Mathura or Vrindavan, we just have to have the eyes to see him. So he is there. It is understood that Mathura city is a transcendental abode of Lord Krishna. It's not an ordinary material city, for it is eternally connected with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vrindavan is within the jurisdiction of Mathura and it still continues to exist. Because Mathura and Vrindavan are intimately connected with Krishna. Eternally, it is said that Lord Krishna never leaves Vrindavan. Vrindavanam parityaja padam ekam na gacchati. At present, the place known as Vrindavan in the district of Mathura continues its position as a transcendental place. And certainly, anyone who goes there becomes transcendently purified. Navadiv Dham is also intimately connected with Braj. Srila Narottam Das Thakur therefore says, Shri Gaur Mandal Bhumi Yeva Jane Chintamani Tarahe Vraj Bhumi Vash. Vraj Bhumi refers to Mathura Vrindavan and Gaur Mandal Bhumi includes Navdev. These two places are non-different. Therefore, anyone living in Navdev Dham, knowing Krishna and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to be the same personality, lives in Brajbhumi, Mathura, Vrindavan. The Lord has made it convenient for the conditioned soul to live in Mathura, Vrindavan, and Navdev, and thus be directly connected with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Simply by living in these places, one can immediately come in contact with the Lord. There are many devotees who vow never to leave Vrindavan and Mathura. This is undoubtedly a good vow, but if one leaves Vrindavan, Mathura, Navdev Dham for the service of the Lord, he is not disconnected from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Prabhupada also left. He was living in Vrindavan, at rather Damodar temple, but he left Vrindavan. He came to Delhi and he was trying to publish Back to Godhead magazines and then first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, and he was going back and forth between Delhi and Vrindavan, traveling by third class or general bogie of the train. He didn't have money. And then he left Mathura, Vrindavan to come to USA, of all the places, to preach, to establish the movement. So he was completely absorbed in the service of the Lord. And this is what Prabhupada says, when one leaves Mathura, Vrindavan for the service of the Lord, he is not disconnected. And there are many devotees who vow never to leave Mathura, Vrindavan, no matter what. It's like recently Kalagand Prabhu left his body in Radhakund. They were there, Prabhuji, Mataji, were there for many, many years now. And in the beginning, yes, he used to come to Delhi. He went with us for Yatra also. But for the last few years, he said, I'm not going to leave Vrindavan or Braj. He got sick and he went to hospital in Mathura. He didn't go outside Mathura. And then ultimately, he left his body at Radhakund. Anyone who executes devotional service in these places certainly goes back home, back to Godhead after giving up his body. Thus the words Mathura Bhagwan Yatra Nityam Sannihito Hari are particularly important. A devotee should fully utilize this instruction to the best of his ability. Whenever the Supreme Lord personally appears, he appears in Mathura because of his intimate connection with this place. If all the Mathura and Vrindavan are situated on this planet Earth, they are transcendental abodes of the Lord. So this is what we are trying to do. We are praying to Radharani to give us a place in her land. That's all we want. So maybe we have to pray more eagerly, and we are not eligible, so we have to pray for her mercy to make us eligible, to give us a place, some small place in her dham. That's all. Tasyam tu karhich chaurir vasudevah kritodvaha devakya suryaya sardam prayane ratham aruha. Some time ago, Vasudeva, who belonged to the demigod family or to the Sura dynasty, married Devaki. After the marriage, he mounted his chariot to return home with his newly married wife. Ugrasen sutah kansaha swasupriya chikirshaya rashmin hayana jagraha rokme rath shatar vrataha. Kansa, the son of King Ugrasena, in order to please his sister Devaki on the occasion of a marriage, took charge of the reins of the horses and became the chariot driver. He was surrounded by hundreds of golden chariots. So Kansa was not the real brother of Devaki, he was the cousin brother of Devaki. But regardless, so he took up the reins of the horses because of his love for his sister, and he wanted to become the chariot driver, take a lower position, and he wanted to take Devaki to her new house. Very, very lovingly he did that. So I guess we can stop here and see what he's going to do tomorrow. So any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, the question I want to ask is, it's on some of the vlogs on the internet. It's not actually, I won't say it is one of the context of, any of the religious books in Hinduism, but it says like, kind of this way, like Lord Ram or Lord Krishna, they were born in the Kshatriya family. So we presume that because they were born in Kshatriya family, so they should be part of hunting, the hunting strategy which is there in the kingdoms and all, which is their plan, which is their passion. And the other thing is eating non-veg and all that. But we have never heard in any one of the religious books that they consume any non-vegetarian food or hunting, killing animals and all that. Is it mentioned somewhere?
Nope. Nope, it's not
part
mentioned.
of it because they are, I don't think so. Like there's just one instance of Marichi, but when Mata Sita asked Sri Ram to bring that Marichi, the golden.
But she didn't say to kill the deer. She said to bring the deer, just to bring the deer, so she would play with him when they go back to Ayodhya. She didn't say to kill the deer and bring the flesh. And in fact, when Ram left for Vanvas, it is mentioned that he told Mother Kaushalya that I'll be living on roots and fruits and herbs. He mentions that. This is mentioned there. So he never said he will be killing and eating animals. So this is people, they just want to create confusion.
The example, the big example is Lord Krishna's pastime during childhood. He was very fond of, curd and all this, dairy products, which we talk about, milk or curd.
See, in Vrindavan, he was not acting as a Kshatriya, he was acting as a Vaishya. He was acting as a son of Nanda Maharaj, who was a Vaishya. His other father, Vasudeva, is Kshatriya, where Nanda Maharaj is Vaishya. So Vaishyas, they don't eat meat. So this is just people want to create confusion, and they don't want to understand the scriptures. That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Okay, so we'll stop here. You all have a safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Krishna.
Hare Krishna.